Hello, Core 3 Beauties. This is Marcos, and this is our week 11 going to week 12 recap briefing video for our Core 3 topics class at Parsons School of Design. Let's get this going. We've got a lot of work going on, and I want to make sure everyone is aligned with the direction and goals of where you should be at and are productively working towards completing your two analog and digital pieces. So for our workflow for week 12 for this coming week, I want everyone to be focused on completing uh, your concept directions, that initial presentation we talked about in last week's class on Tuesday, where you create the foundation design for both your analog and digital pieces. And before you begin to focus on one or the other, you have that thought process worked out for how you're going to approach your analog and your digital piece or pieces if they're more than one. And that once you do that, which is where you should be if you're not, you then begin to further design, develop on one of those components, whether it's the digital or analog, or you may find that working on them simultaneously is beneficial. That's probably rare, but you never know, that might work. But basically at this point, once you have that foundation completed, once you have that presentation that I asked for done, it'll be up to you then to make the choice for which piece you want to develop first and to put a focus on that and develop it within the time we have so that you can complete that while also completing your other components. So we've got two components going at once, and it's going to be about you managing your time and considering the best approach for yourself on how to move forward in the most productive way. And of course, I can help if you need any feedback on that. Just reach out to me. So we'll be working on that. And next week, we're going to have two split class sessions where half of you will come Tuesday, half of you come Thursday. And at that point, each of you should be able to casually or present where you're at in progress and get feedback from me and your classmates and have more time because it's just half of us to have it be a little more casual, a little more conversational. And I want to count on everyone in the class participating as much as possible with each person. There are some people who do a lot of the feedback, which I really love and appreciate, and I want to see that enthusiasm from some of the more quiet members of our class to make sure you're contributing and because your feedback is very valuable. I'm always excited when somebody's besides my feedback is given and it influences the direction of somebody's project. That's the way it should work. So let's make sure we're all collectively working together to give support and feedback. And even if it's just a cheer and encouragement, that goes a long way. We're in the heat of it right now, and it's getting going towards mid-November, and it's getting scary because we have about a month of class, maybe even less left. And we need to stay focused, energized, and supporting each other is going to be important. And I support each of you as well. So always know that I'm out here ready to help. And then another thing, we've got another one of those pesky cross topics videos. This one's on image making. This is the second to last one. There's one more after this. Hang strong, keep watching. Remember the final examination, the question is going to be, I'm giving you the question in advance. Have you watched all the cross-topic videos? So make sure you're ready for the final examination. So keep watching those. If you're behind, go back and watch. Of course, go back twice and watch mine if you haven't yet. If you haven't yet, then that's very, very problematic. So make sure you do that. But let's just be sure we're like putting where we're at in context here. And as you can see, we are in week 12. We've got week 13, 14, and 15. So it is getting down to the wire. Next week, we're going to have this coming week, half class sessions. I'll share with you who's on what class and a few more slides here at the end. But if you don't feel like you cannot come to the other class that you're not assigned to, please come. And in fact, if you have been challenged with your attendance, and if I feel like many of you have, for some reason, I can't figure out how to just quickly see where people are at with their complete attendance. But I have a feeling that some of you have gone beyond 4, and that's the failure level. And I don't want to be cornered by somebody and saying, how come this student is How come the A making machine gave this person an A when they were absent 4 times? Please don't put me in that position. So in order to avoid that, I want you to come to a class session that isn't assigned to you in order to make up for a past class and for you to tell me that's why you're there, so I can go back in the time machine and change your fate. So make sure that you manage that. If you've done more than four absences, then you got to take action with me to undo that, because that is for sure going to affect the A making machine, but it could also lead to you failing the class. And I do not want that for anybody, because that is the policy. And I want to have integrity. If they ask me to follow the policy, then I can't help it. So please manage your absences. It doesn't matter if you were sick. It doesn't matter if you had a reason. Those things are bad and important, but the policy is an absence is an absence. But my policy is a makeup is a makeup. So we can make up those missing classes or class if it's just one. So just reach out to me. It doesn't have to take a lot. It just takes effort and a little bit of clever planning to defeat that. Okay. And then also, one thing I wanted to bring up with you guys, I'll just kind of float it here for now, but I am perplexed that we end on December 5th and that we're not in that pre-teenage week of December like we normally always are, and it's just 1 week after Thanksgiving. So I was thinking that if you find yourself, and we're still too early, but if we're down to the wire, it's after Thanksgiving and you're desperately behind, this might not happen. So maybe I'm saying this too prematurely, but I am open to having a bonus class session on December, and I can't do the math here. It'd be like December 10th, I guess, on the Tuesday following what is supposed to be our last class. I think that's still officially a class session, but it could even be like we can have a Zoom review. So if there's anybody who needs extra time for the final review, I'm open to making an extra bonus class that we can have a group of people be in that session. So think about that. Maybe it won't be necessary, but that's just another one of the ideas for how we can make sure that everybody fully gets what they can out of this class. So after next week, we're going to have our last full week of class before there's Thanksgiving and then the finals. The finals are a full week of class, so I shouldn't say that. But on week 13, after next week, we'll have another individual review day, of a work day, individual review day on a Tuesday, and then on a Thursday, the 21st, we'll have a full class with small group review sessions and work time. And then the week of Thanksgiving, we only have 1 day of class on Tuesday, the 26th, and that will be kind of a pre-finals review session. Not that your work should be done by then, but it'll be at the last chance we have to, like as a class, see each other's work and go through that and give feedback. There'll be the Thanksgiving break. And then, incredibly, the finals are that last week. So I do want to talk about this because coming from Thanksgiving to a final review day, like half the class is going to be reviewing, seems harsh, seems hard. We could do a full day of finals on the 5th, on Thursday the 5th, but I don't think there's enough time to do that unless we do, well, there is if we do a Zoom session on Thursday and have the full class, and we'll have special guest reviewers and we break up into groups, and that will be the way we can do it in 1 day. So anyway, I'm thinking out loud here, but let's talk about that more in class and get this finalized so that you can have the best chance to succeed. And I'm willing to go the extra mile to make sure that that happens. Okay, so just a reminder, this is a reminder review of what you should have done kind of by last class, but some of you didn't quite do this. It wasn't quite enough time. It was only a couple of days, so I think I was maybe being a little unreasonable. So for this next week, I want to make sure that you have this done. Like I want you to have a concept design for both your analog, like you see in the top 2 rows of this is a magazine in this example, where you see a bullet point list of objectives. Then you see the idea listed out in bullet points with inspiration imagery. And then you see a set of thumbnail sketches that outline the architecture of the piece. And then you see on the second row on the left, a preliminary layout. Many of you have done this, so it's not, you're okay, but some of you haven't. You're working a little bit differently, and that's okay too. And then in the center is the second option for this person. You don't have to have 2, but they have a second option. And then on the bottom row, you see the digital set of pages So I want to make sure you have both your analog and digital projects scoped out, concepted, and preliminarily laid out so that you have a good idea of what you're doing for both, so that when you start building one, you know what you're building against with the other. And it doesn't mean that you can't change what you're doing, but I think this is a good foundation to have a bigger picture idea of what you're doing before you go charging into just doing one of your pieces. So please follow this format. And then what you should be doing is continuing on from here. In this case, let's say you decided that doing your app was the best step here instead of your print piece, then you would work on your app. Or you might decide doing your print piece is better and start working on that. Or option three, the wild card option, maybe you want to work on both at the same time and build them together. I can't quite imagine that's the best way, but that might be how it works for you. Again, this time now is about you managing your time, you being in charge of making sure that you use the time you have and the resources and your skill and passion and talent to make your project as good as possible. It's going to mean putting in hours, being disciplined. I know you guys have diverse lives as students, so go to activities, be with friends, deal with your other classes, but focus on this as a priority. I want weekends, I want late nights, get rest, stay hydrated and eat well. But it's a vital month now. This is your junior year, first semester, last month. And if you make a drive now, a surge to make these projects great, you're going to come out of this year armed with a really good outcome that will have you ready for your last semester of junior year and then your final year. So let's do this together. Let's make sure you're building greatness here. All right. So next week, we're going to have 2 half class sessions. Right now, I have the groups broken up in this way: Rosa, Sahara, Moy, Heining, Esther, Jordan, Jennifer, Damla on Tuesday, Sasha, Rowan, Jeannie, Charlotte, Tiana, Jojo, Yomna, and Siheng on Thursday. So make sure you plan for this. If there's a conflict with anybody, reach out to me. Earlier better than later. Ideally, if you want to change, you find the person on the other side of the other day and arrange a switch. Don't make me have to jump around finding ways to make it different, and don't make one of the classes more crowded than the other and cutting into their time. I ideally just stick to the schedule, because you're supposed to be at both classes. So it's not like, oh, I have something to do. No, you're supposed to be in both of these classes. So I don't buy that. But if there's a special reason, then please reach out. And again, go to both classes if you are attendance challenged. And I think many of you are in this situation. Please do that. And even if you're not up to 4, the A-making machine is going to look at your attendance. And if you have 3, even though it's not 4, that's going to cause some sputtering. That's going to cause some jamming. That's going to cause some shaking. And that's going to cause some smoke and rattling. And that will affect the shape of that A. And it might start to curve and curve again. And it might start looking like a B. Or it might even get worse and completely start going out of control and become half a circle and be a C. And we do not want that from the A-making machine. So make sure you are doing this. It's a serious thing. I know I'm chill and I come out as like being casual, but this is serious business. These are the basics. Attendance is a basic thing. Getting your projects done as asked for is a basic thing. And you cannot earn an A if you're not doing those things. So please do them, regardless of how talented or beautiful you are. You have to do the discipline of doing these things. So I'm giving you a chance now to look at your attendance and come back to me with a plan to get you up to speed. All right, I'm getting a little naggy, so let's go more big picture. And remember that we are on a beautiful journey. We are trying to create a project here. We're in the middle of it. We've passed the center point. We're going now down the rainbow of beauty towards human flourishing. We've done so much. Look what we've done so far. We've created a new brand. Incredible, the ideas you guys have. You've created a brand name, a logo, some standards, some base touch points. This thing is now alive. It is visual. It is ready to go into action into 2 main purposes: an analog touch point and a digital touch point. And you have those already scoped out. You have the foundation designed for them, and now it is time to execute both guns blazing and to make those designs as great as possible. Stay open-minded to like how you could shift or change the direction and go outside of your initial vision if needed, because things come up and you realize, no, this might be better this way. But spend the time needed to get it done. Go down that hill with dignity and make sure you're planning everything well and staying on top of all the deadlines and your time schedule. Okay, so, oh, how annoying. My head's spinning from all these videos, but cross topics video number 10, let's watch it. That's part of the class. A making machine wants to know at the final examination if you have watched them all, and you must answer honestly. And on image making is this next one, so please check that out. Put that thing on double fast speed if needed. Don't worry about how silly that whoever the professor is sounds like. Just don't do it to me. Don't do it to this video. And if you're doing it right now, slow this thing down right away. But press as fast as you need to listen to it and watch it and gain what you can gain out of that. All right, everybody, back to work. There's lots to do. Stay positive, stay beautiful. I'll see you, half of you on Tuesday and half of you on Thursday. Bye.